Online fantasy wrestling has been growing at a rapid pace. We will take a look at one promotion which has taken off fast. They are only over a year old, but it is full of entertaining characters, crazy off-the-wall storylines, and top-notch promos. This is blurring the lines of fantasy and reality, the story of MPRO.
Do it! I'm stirring the shit pot in Millenium Pro!
Alright, everyone, I am here with the owner, founder, general manager, a man with many titles and many characters. Yeah, the founder of Millenium Pro, Ewan Clemens.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, so today we're here to discuss pretty much basically why you started MPRO and like when exactly did you get the idea? What was your incentive? Like what motivated you to start MPRO? Just tell me basically kind of like from the beginning how this all occurred. Is there any backstory before?
Sure. Our friend Dave, another Dave, was doing one of these fantasy leagues as well, and I was a part of it. But unfortunately, over time, things were getting very chaotic in the group, and I felt it was just time. Hey, why don't I start my own? People who were a part of his group were wanting more of an edgier kind of product. They were wanting kind of basically, you could look at it like the Attitude Era of WWE kind of thing. Wanting more edgy, rough, stuff. So I said, hey, why don't I start my own group? So I was actually at an after party for a local wrestling show at a bowling alley one time. And I'm just sitting there with friends, and I thought about it, and I said, what if I start a group like Millennium? I could just call it Millennium, right? My friend Mike was like, that's cool, but maybe we could do maybe make it a little more wrestling orientated, right? Maybe call it Millennium Pro. And I was like, perfect. Because I was thinking with Millennium, I was thinking when Chris Jericho, who we all know, I'm sure, debuted in the WWE in 1999, and he debuted as this character, the Millennium, right? He was the Millennium Man. It was a new beginning. It was a new change, right? Because of course it was year 2000 was coming up, and everybody was all scared of the Y2K, stuff, and everybody was all, whatever with that. So I was like, hey, let's start a new revolution, you could say.
How long after that, did it take for you to actually officially launch the idea and kind of go, I guess, public or launch it live?
I can't remember when specifically we were at the bowling alley, but November 8th, 2017, we officially began. I think it was not many months after. Sorry. Very thirsty today. Not many months after, starting the group after the name. It was pretty much a couple months after. November 7th, officially, the page began, but November 8th really was the big kickoff day.
Okay, so now, how would you describe MPRO? Like, say if you went on public and was trying to get the word about MPRO, or you put a billboard up, whatever the case. Oh, have you heard of MPRO? Like you literally had to do sales pitch on MPRO.
Mm-hmm.
How would you describe MPRO? Like what it is and the purpose of it?
It's basically to help wrestlers or anybody who never got a chance to be a professional wrestler work on promos. I actually wanted to do it because a long time ago I used to be in my bedroom, or looking at myself in the mirror, cutting a promo thinking I was Hulk Hogan, or something like that. But it's basically a promo helper is really what it is. And we actually have some actual wrestlers who are part of this group too, and they've said, that not only it's great in downtime when they're not wrestling, it helps with their promo work. And it's a fun activity. It's basically to help with.
well, you know, Now, Millennium Pro, Ewan was the mastermind behind starting that thing off. It stemmed originally from Down with Wrestling, which was, I guess, more one of the BC-based fantasy wrestling groups, and then Ewan branched off to do his own thing, and over the years, Ewan and I have become friends, and I took a little bit of an interest, so I hopped aboard, and sure enough, it was something entertaining, that's for sure.
Well, I started up with getting Ewan. I can't remember when it was. Is it a after party? I believe I was Mr. Tannehill, well, football player from the Miami Dolphins. So I'm like, I'm gonna change my name. So then it was me, David, Jennifer, Jen, Ewan. I went Defy show. We called ourselves Bloody Abbotsford.
Ewan asked me to join, and I did.
Bad. The good part covers a variety of topics for people. As a person who actually wrestles, I enjoy interacting with fans in this platform. I can do promos, we can have little storylines, we engage each other more than the once or twice a month where we may see each other at an indie show, and it gives us a broader reach to be interactive, a whole other platform. I like that. It's good PR for us. I'm sure it makes the fans happy to have the wrestlers go out of their way to engage them beyond just from yelling at them inside the ropes. I think the only real cons I see is that people who aren't wrestlers, or just people in general, seem to get really either egotistical about it, or they take things personally like it's actual reality, and then a lot of times forums are just filled with bickering back and forth between a handful of people, and then the rest of the people just kind of shy away, and they're like, well, we don't want to have anything to do with that in the moment, or we're not going to speak up and get involved because of the way people seem to treat each other. But overall, it's family-esque, and I think if you're a wrestling fan in general and you like wrestling, then fantasy wrestling is just as enjoyable as it might have been if you were backyarding back in your teenage years.
The thing I love with Millennium Pro, number one with the promos, is all the different ideas that people can come up with, all the people we have, and how they would perceive a character to be and what they would do for promos themselves. I'll tell you, with all due respect to the local wrestling and WWE and stuff like that, I've seen some promos here in Millennium Pro that blows it out of the water. I mean, it's just amazing what I see. But with regard to that, it can be a con because some people could take it literally. We have people in Millennium Pro who, respectfully to others in it, know wrestling better than others. And so they understand, hey, we're just teasing, hey, we're just trolling, hey, we're just whatever, when other people truthfully kind of take it a little literally. Literally. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. So also pretty much the tagline is not for everyone would be an appropriate tagline to have.
Yeah, it's for wrestling fans. That's the thing. And there's been a lot of naysay about Millennium Pro, but it's for wrestling fans. So, but yeah, there's people that get it. There's some that take it too literally. However, at the same time, those of us who do get it, we don't necessarily need to really be driving the point home with people who don't get it. How the reality of it, we could ixnay the trolling a little bit. We do want as many people in the group as possible.
Yeah, there's like a borderline
But
when
I
it
do-
comes to trolling. It's good
Yeah.
to a certain extent, some laughs. It's good to have entertain people, because also people go online or even watch like wrestling to get their mind off real life issues.
Well, I think Millennium Pro's neat because I've got people in the group I've never even physically met in person yet.
Yeah. So yeah.
I think that's just amazing. So
Yeah, that is
through
like
word
just
of mouth.
the power of like online and all that. You get someone halfway on the other side of the world, and they could be interacting with you. Never met them. The only thing you know of them is maybe promos or maybe just some posts they made.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just incredible how much now you could reach people on the other side of the globe.
First part, I got people making fun of my comments. Not to mention any names. I did a promo maybe like 2 weeks ago, like, oh, you're drinking the alcohol, but it's straight up water. But the pros is, I'm happy to be part of MPRO. I'm going to stay stronger, more promos coming soon.
The pros, I think, would be some of the videos for the promos and that, and the positive impact that people say about it. The negative, not enough promos from people, and people judging and thinking
Brings
that
everyone together of what everyone enjoys. Just kind of gets people to know each other a little bit better. That could be a pro or a con, because you get to know people a little too much. And yeah, sometimes you just kind of get annoyed with people. To a point. I think some people could take it too far, and that's another part of the problem, is that some people take it too far and others take what people say too far. Like, they take it too personal, and they have to really kind of learn not to. Not that I'm one to talk on that subject, but it happens, and I guess some people are too thick-skinned and some people are too thin-skinned.
taking out of context, and I don't think it's online bullying at all. They're just not thinking. They're thinking it's real, and it's not. That's what I'd say. I would say it's not online bullying because we all know that it's fake. And we're just friends. We're all friends. And we're family.
I don't think the wrestling itself is online bullying. I think that there are people online who will intimidate and bully you. It doesn't matter whether it's fantasy wrestling or anything else. Unfortunately, the internet is a shitty place just as much as it's a good, knowledgeable place, and people are going to hurt it and reach out to you regardless. That's more topic and I guess personal situations. I know that there seems to be heat or as it were. People seem to legitimately dislike each other and have personal hatred, either based on things that were said online or things that they know each other in real life, or even just entirely misconstruing something somebody said. But I don't know, there is bullying online. Is there bullying in our local BC groups, Millenium Pro and Down with Wrestling? Yes. Is there extra sensitivity? Also yes. We have to realize that it's all, if you want to play, you're going to play. You wouldn't go to a golf course and then get mad at, for someone being too quiet, or I used the wrong analogy there, but you know what I mean. The point is, if you're here, you're going to play, and if you're not going to be here, don't play. Figure out what's personal, what's not, and if you can't, this is not the place for you.
It's not bullying, no, never. People are taking it's too seriously, but come on, man, it's fantasy wrestling. Grow up.
I think wrestling in general is an escape from reality for everybody. As a fan, as a wrestler, I am a father of two. I ran for mayor. I have a whole life. And then I have Danni Deeds, in which I am a pompous asshole with shades, who has also been an evil genius, and I've also stayed white and nerdy all the way through. This tan line will never change. Why? Because I wouldn't have a gimmick then, right? So, but we all do it for our own reasons as wrestlers, and as fans, we all go to it. We know it's like a soap opera. We know it's entertainment. We also know it's sport. We have a respect for doing both those things. But we don't go there expecting... There is no expectation except that we are going to be happy and enjoy ourselves around wrestling. And I think that that's how it's going to be.
It is, yeah. I'd say it's a good escape. Because it's an escape for me some days. Just because of everything that's happened.
It's not bullying, no, never. People are taking it's too seriously. But come on, man, it's fantasy wrestling. Grow up.
Yes, it is. I mean, like, we're all characters. We're not ourselves most of the time. We're who we want to be and who we pretend to be. It's a way to get away from life sometimes. Like, I do it just to have fun and to be goofy. Unlike some people, I don't wear my costume all the time or take it for granted or walk around with anything outside.
Well, number one, it's for wrestling fans. So there's the point. I think the consensus is, okay, you guys are doing wrestling promos, you're acting like wrestlers, you haven't been trained, you haven't paid your dues. Problem is that they don't realize, and this is what bothers me about people who judge Millenium Pro, is they haven't physically been in the group that I've seen. Those who judge it, they've never physically been a part of it, they've never actually tried it out. And the ones that I've got the complaints from anyway. The thing about Millenium Pro that people need to understand is that wrestling promos, which is the emphasis of the group, have been done since the dawn of time. Wrestling fans have done it, wrestlers have done it. We pay respect to the wrestlers by not doing any physical wrestling matches because the majority of us are not trained. That's the point. If you're actually sitting there and you're complaining about people doing wrestling promos and there's no physical wrestling happening, that's pretty sad. When you're going out there and you're entertaining hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. Back to concerns people have about MPRO, I understand it, I get the criticism, but if you've never physically been a part of the group, then, it's really not your place to say. We have one thing that really bothered me, which I'd like to mention, was we have a tagline that we use in our group, like Subway would have, eat fresh, all that stuff, McDonald's, I'm loving it. We have a tagline called fake wrestling, real drama that we use for our group. And I know wrestlers or anybody else would look at that right away and go, well, come on, Ewan. That's a little disrespectful. You know that wrestling obviously isn't that. And we actually had somebody who was a wrestler, I won't name any names, of course, physically come on the group and say simply flat out, didn't ask me about why I had that tagline, didn't inquire, didn't anything, just completely jumped to conclusions and went, you better learn respect, And that's just pure ignorance. I just completely ignored that. If you're not even going to bother to ask why somebody would have that, then that's your business. So for those of you who are asking nicely, compared to this guy, I'll tell you why. It's because we're differentiating wrestling. WWE, local wrestling, all that stuff. We know it's entertainment, but it's real deal. You got to be really trained. You got to be really athletic. You're taking real risks in the ring, all like that. Fake wrestling, real drama, Millenium Pro means it's just that. It's fake wrestling. It's the promos. It's fantasy. Because if you happen to read the description of the group, right in the very first line, it says Fantasy League.
To have our opinions. So, you know what? If they think that, then that's their opinion, and I don't think so.
Well, they say the same thing about backyard wrestling, don't they? It's just backyard wrestling online. That's all it is. Some people think that it's that way, some people don't. It's all just for fun. I've been doing this for years, like everywhere. This isn't my first time I've been doing stuff like this, and you can tell that I've been doing things like this for a long time. So, I don't know why people have an issue with this.
I guess it really all depends on how far the individual players are willing to go with it. I'm a professional wrestler. I know that we're playing in fantasy land and I enjoy it. That's for me. I think that where the disrespect line comes is when people who aren't actually wrestlers and they partake in these things then get an ego about themselves that they are wrestlers in some capacity, and they allow that to cloud their judgment. That could bring up a whole other underlining topic. Like, I don't have a problem with people slanging merch if that's what they want to do, but it doesn't make sense to me that Down With Wrestling sells branded merchandise at professional wrestling shows and makes themselves out to be a legitimate company, as opposed to a worker who is going to be there one night and they're trying to sell pictures and they're trying to sell shirts, and the fans have to pick and choose between what it is they're going to buy, and they're led to believe that something is what it isn't. I think that that's too far. Down With Wrestling is great, but it's not a company. Same with Millenium Pro. It's fantasy wrestling. And I wouldn't go to the NFL and start being like, hey, well, I played football in the backyard with my kids, so I'm going to sell you this shirt. Danni Deeds loves football at NFL games. That makes no sense to me. I think that things like that are disrespectful to the business if they're around the business, and they shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. There's got to be a separation, and if characters are not separating the two, that's a problem. I'm not discrediting the fact that people, if they want to sell merch and they want to sell branded stuff, that's great. But selling them at professional wrestling events, pretending to be professional wrestling companies, that's a disrespect. But that's a matter of opinion too. Not everyone's going to share that opinion with me, but if I may be candid.
Promos at the beginning of Millennium Pro were. The concept with Millennium Pro basically is that we did promo matches instead of actual physical matches, because of course the majority of us in the group are not trained to wrestle. The irony. So what we basically did is we would have a match between such and such and such and such. And I would basically look at each promo that they do about the match and then judge from each promo who would win. However, I've realized over time, there are people that just do so awesome of promos that really, if it came down to it, they'd be winning all the time. So what I decided to do now is really expand MPRO and make interesting stories now, build up storylines, build up different things. I've had guest journal managers, and they've really been awesome. They've made amazing stories. In fact, the man behind the camera right now did some amazing work back in January. And I think it's great. Promos are the key to the group. A lot of people, well, maybe not a lot, but some right now probably feel, making a promo doesn't make a difference. Somebody will win, whoever. It's just you and picks. Who cares if we do a promos? That's not the case. You do a promo, you get the better benefits in the group. And that's widely known. Everybody knows that. So you'll get more title matches, you'll get whatever. But it's a different thing now. You want to build up stories, you want to make interesting things. How could this person interact with this guy now? Or how could this person interact with this person? If we have the same people winning all the time, it would get pretty dull. Number one with the promos is all the different ideas that people can come up with. All the people we have, and how they would perceive a character to be and what they would do for promos themselves. I'll tell you, with all due respect to the local wrestling and WWE and stuff like that, I've seen some promos here in Millennium Pro that blows it out of the water.
Going from your heart. Just pretending that you're your character and playing it. That would be a good promo to me. There's been so many that do that.
Well, I would say they're really important, because if you don't do anything, what's the point? If you don't do anything, it's just someone else doing the work for you, and you're just lazy. Be active. Don't be boring. Don't stand in one place the whole time. Or don't be yourself if you're a boring person. Don't drag on.
It's different for every group. My understanding with Millennium Pro was that the whole point was for people to cut promos, and then based on those promos and whether or not Ewan or whoever else on their group of people was judging them were good enough, that was going to kind of steer the creative control. That's a pipe dream. It was a great concept, but that wasn't the reality of things in the end, and it isn't the reality anywhere. I think it just needs to be what it is. If we all have an understanding that promos aren't the thing that's going to cause this ball to keep rolling, then the promos ultimately don't matter. But if we're going to put out promos, then I think they should be quality promos and they should have a point. But everyone has their own way. Like you say, a lot of these members aren't professional wrestlers. They're not necessarily comfortable on a mic or behind a screen for whatever the reason is. And you also have to work within the fact that you are going to have those comfort levels, right? You know, not in a hypocrisy to what I said, you know, if you can't take it, get out. There are people that are going to stay involved and be involved because they want to, but aren't ever going to cut promos. And it's not the end all be all. It's just, as people who are playing with all of you, I want you to cut promos or engage us through comments and things like that, because it's fun. It's fun for me as a person. It's fun for me as a wrestler. If you say, hey, I want to play soccer, and you choose to never, ever, 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 ever play soccer and just sit on the bench, that's not a team either. So if we're going to have things succeed, there has to be a balance of things. I think promos are important. I think that promos should reflect what it is that you're trying to do and what a promotion's trying to get across. If it's a Fantasyland angle like tonight, I'm supposed to play musical chairs, and the last person standing gets to choose whose head's going to blow up with these electrified collars, and that's what our GM's written. And I'm okay with that. So today when I cut a promo and we're all done this, I'm going to go cut a promo about the fact that who knows which one of these other 4 people I'm going to choose, but either way, someone else's head's going to get blown off, because that's the whole point. I don't know. What makes a good promo, though, I think genuity. A lot, I hear people slagging on the people that are sitting on their beds and sitting on the couch and doing other things, but you can't discredit the fact that whether they're angry or upset or whatever, there's a lot of genuine emotion that comes from them in those situations. And people will see that more often than not. You can go on and fabricate, and I'm Danni Deeds, and I'm going to come to your town, and I am going to win the belt of the company I'm in, and I am that guy. No. Or I could just shit rant about the fact that I'm that guy. You know who I am. You know I'm actually going to show up and do the things I say because they're coming out of my mouth. I don't know if you can explain that in a promo. But genuity. That makes a great promo. You want to be there, you want to do it.
Best promo ever.
Let's discuss what kind of person PatRiot is now, shall we? You see, PatRiot's the kind of guy who, well, let's say there's a certain lady around these parts of the world, these parts, who does amazing things for less fortunate people. PatRiot's the kind of guy who will message this person on Facebook saying, oh, look at me, I bought a homeless man a meal today. Good for you. You know what? You're such a fucking scumbag that you have to do shit like that for respect. Oh, and just so you know, this person could do more in a day than for that community than you will ever do in your whole fucking life. PatRiot's also the kind of person who will go on Facebook and say how he has no money for the bus to work and makes people give him money, when in reality he has no money because he goes and buys $500 of wrestling DVDs and blows his whole paycheck on that. Like, really? You're such a scumbag. Tonight, I'm not gonna kick your ass for myself. I'm gonna do it for the whole Millenium Pro roster. I hope everyone in the back watches, because something tells me they're gonna wish they were in the ring with him, doing what I'm about to do. See you tonight, you fat oaf. One more thing I forgot to mention. PatRiot's also the kind of guy who honestly just can't take a joke in life. He's gotta take everything serious. You know, he's gonna go get people banned from other groups because they make a joke about him or say they're gonna try to steal his name, and so he goes and puts his lips against the other owner's ass like he always does, because that's who he is, and gets people banned because he's just stupid enough to not know what a fucking joke is. I'll tell you what's a joke, Pat. Your life.
Got all these trophies on your coattails. Oh, God. Oh, Michael Moore. You're at the bottom drawer still. You always will be. Why do they think that he had the best promo out of all of the possible things? JJ Bounty, that guy, all the other people. Michael Moore? Oh.
Well, that's okay, because we got more than Michael less.
I'm so drunk I'll laugh at anything, JJ. I love it.
Oh, yes. Well, you know.
I'm just kidding. Don't drink. Don't do drugs, kids. Protect your feelings.
You bring your stabbies.
He was right in the middle of all the chaos where he wanted to be.
Wait a second here. You mean you're Commissioner Steve and the Soul Taker? Scanner, this could be your belt, but you're not gonna get my belt, Nate Scanner. No, sirree, because I...
You finally accepted my challenge to put a title on the line.
Ah, yes, friends. Johnny D coming at you once again, yes. About to enter the shower.
Oh, hey there, kids. You caught old Gorgon getting ready for the Battle Royal this Tuesday.
I haven't been paying attention to Anchorman Taylor Stevens, because that is someone I don't care about. And people I don't care about, I don't pay attention.
What the fuck? Oh my gentle Jesus, check this out. Oh, I think I hit the jackpot today. Dick's gonna eat. Oh my God.
I have to expose the business.
Where's your belt? Instead of me killing her, I ripped out her tongue.
I hope that you took time off of huffing paint and realized that you're actually going to be in a match. Here you are. Congratulations. I'll take that big one there. Because Johnny D does make the shirt. I'll have a good weekend and fuck off.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
But at what point did you think the big first breakout moment was that really put MPRO like really on fire, where you think, wow, this is getting intense, this is insane? Like, what moment was it, like the big
Oh,
moment?
I don't know if I could really pinpoint. I think when our with all due respect to everybody in the group, when our friend Danni Deeds, who portrays that guy character, came in, boy oh boy, did he really shake it up. And I gave him an appreciation award, definitely at our year-end awards. And boy, there was one time we actually had an incident, and it shoot involved the police department. I mean, totally unplanned, but. This wrestling event a while back now, and it was a story that I guess he was doing with our women's champion at the time. She's now known as Jamie Dean, but she was Beach Babe Dozer at the time. Our friend Timmy, who I'm sure we all know at the local wrestling, and came out of this wrestling event, and I heard a whole bunch of commotion outside. That guy's sitting on top of the ring truck that they brought for the local wrestling, and he's taunting him.
Well, that was just Deeds being Deeds. That's just... I mean, like, you can't really have a reaction to that. It's just like... Once you've been around wrestling for a really long time, it just kind of all rolls in together. And it's just like everyday life. It's just like, okay, what else is new? Like, nothing really shocks me anymore or offends me or anything like that, because it's just, okay, it happened.
We'd spent the weekend. Aaron was kind enough to come up and really encourage us to have one of the best road trips of our life up in the Kelowna area. She, at the time, I believe, was the women's champion. And her and Scarlett had kind of got into it that weekend, in which Scarlett had started to get involved with the business and the women's championship. And then my understanding, if I can recall correctly, was that Beach Babe won the belt. And we were eating at Denny's the following day, and we were all getting ready to head back up. And maybe it wasn't the following day, it was the day after. Either way. And the belt was in Aaron's car. And I took it. I straight up took it. I put something else into the belt bag, and I put it in a way that she believed that in the back of her car, she could see that the belt bag was there, and she thought that belt was in there. And when she dropped us off in Abbotsford, I had already stolen this belt for the first time. And then, of course, I taunted and did things back and forth. I don't think Beach Babe was expecting that there was going to be a spectacle outside, but I do enjoy doing things on the fly, and I decided that it was time to, just stir the pot a bit more. So that's where that whole thing was, just on the fly. I came out, I was in a feisty mood, and I had the women's belt, and I climbed up on ECCW's rental truck that they had rented for the ring, and I just taunted and baited her and back and forth, and it had been quite a build, but it was really the first crossing point where a wrestler was like, okay, we're going to play and we're going to do things. I saw a lot of people video and live streaming it that weren't from our fantasy wrestling league, and that was, I don't know. I thought they needed to take it in a bit more hands-on direction is all, so.
It's not a fake, is it, Bobby Beach?
It's entertaining with you up there, but it's going to be more entertaining when you're down here.
Oh!
Exactly. So what?
We got all night long.
Because I'm going to make interesting
I'm off
television for
Sunday.
everybody.
Off Sunday.
Oh, just come down.
You're not going to the after party at Brown's Social House?
Oh, what the fuck, huh?
You ain't going to the after party? I'm going to be at the after party, drinking a whole lot of brewskis, hookers and blow all the way, baby. That's the way the old school does it. Top to bottom.
Hey, guess what?
That guy knows. Quit heckling me, you little child. I've got your belt, and I can talk for an hour and a half straight. I don't care if they call the police for noise violation. I will talk and talk and talk because I'm that guy. Throw it to me, baby. I want a drink. I know you want to chuck it. Throw it up here, baby. Come on. Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what he's
You know what? You're much
Who believes that guy should stay the women's champion, huh? That's what I thought they all believe. You want to protect my feelings, huh? You want to protect my feelings, JJ? You come up here and take the belt from me then, huh?
I quit. Did you read the promo? I quit.
You quit?
Yeah, I did.
Why'd you quit?
You have to watch the promo.
Son of a bitch, I don't have time. I'm too busy cutting my own promo right now. 20 minutes of that guy. We're going to go on till 11 o'clock and entertain everybody out here. What do you think about that? Beach boy, I see you sweating bullets. What am I just watching? You gonna catch it?
Jump.
You catch it. Yeah, that's what I thought. You just want to watch me because that guy's the spectacle that's taking it to the next level. Whether it's fantasy, whether it's independent, I'll be there. Because I'm that guy and you are not. They understand. Are you going to catch me, young lady? You catch me and I'll jump. You stand right there. You catch me and I'll jump. Maybe you would make a better women's champion than that child down there. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I think I might just leave him up there. This is entertaining.
Babe, Dozer, baby. Beach Babe Dozer, take your belt. Last chance, Dozer. Last chance. Here it is. Here it is. Come on. Come on, please. Please end this charade and take it from me. Come on.
I can't wait till you get down.
I'm not coming down. Never! I have the keys to the truck, and I'm not opening it until you leave.
For that again. I'm gonna wait till you come down. I got all night.
You got all night?
I got all night.
What do you guys want to talk about since we got all night? Did you like the ECCW wrestling show tonight?
As soon as you are down,
that's right, you absolutely love wrestling. That's what we're here to do.
But guess what? This
second, we're back.
This truck is gonna drive away.
Try the wings at Brown Social House. That's what he's plugging over there. We're gonna go to Brown Social House. You're eating wings tonight. Where's JJ Macho when we need a wings challenge? Wings! 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 That's right, Bobby Beach.
I never quit for
Wingins
wings.
champion! The Wingins champion! I need all of you! That's what I thought. Oh my gosh, what are you throwing at me now, huh?
It was nothing.
Don't you make me flinch down there. I don't want to flinch. It makes me look like a coward. I don't want to look like a coward. I need to come off looking strong. Come on now. Come on. Millennium Pro with a big boy fight. Where you going, Beach Boy? You called me out. You called me.
I think I'm going to have some wings. That's what I think.
You go have wings, and I'll bring this belt and see you all there. You go to Browns, you better be there, Bobby Beach.
I'll be
1
waiting
a.m. 1
a.m.
1 a.m. 1 a.m. 1 a.m. 1 a.m. 1 a.m.
Oh, shit.
It's on, Bobby Beach. It's on, Daddy.
Oh, she's going up.
Good night, wrestling fans. We'll see you again. Do you know about Millennium Pro? Do you know about fantasy wrestling online? No. That's your women's champion right there, Beach Babe Dozer. The problem was last week, I stole this belt from the ex-champion. And now?
It's all over, baby.
It ain't over.
Oh.
And now she's been jonesing to get this belt back for the last 7 days. She needs to get down from the truck. She's intoxicated. Police, take her out of here. That's right. Call the patty. I ain't wrapping nothing up, Daddy. I ain't rapping. You think my bestie is gonna calm me down? The same Bill Coltrane probably is the only man that can calm me down, but I'm too fired up. That guy's fired up. You can check it out at Danni Deeds. You can check it out at Millennium Pro. Look for me, because I am that guy, baby. Yeah.
I love that.
How far in advance did you know that was going to happen? And what details were you actually told what was going to go on? Were you just told something's going to happen? Because obviously you had one of the members of the Gun family, Pistol Pete, on the live chat. So how far in advance did you know? Who told you? And how did you think it was actually going to turn out after you heard the details of what was planned?
Let me get the interrogation light down here. Pressure's on. Well, I'll shoot on it. Whatever. We'll break the fame, I guess, a little bit. I actually knew just before the Facebook Live had started. Actually, Pistol Pete had come on, and I knew just before it began. I got actually a message from that guy saying he had that planned. But nobody took into account that the police would show up. Excuse me. Nobody took into account that would happen, as I guess they were so content with their plan of what they were going to do, they totally forgot to take into account the police. I heard about that, and I said, "Oh my God! Tell me I don't have to go to Kelowna with some bail money." Oh Lord, I love it. But yeah, I knew probably about an hour before the Facebook Live began.
What was your reaction when you were told what was going to happen? Were you thinking, "Oh, this is going to be great TV," or?
I thought it'd be great TV. I thought at first, we got our own little Jerry Springer thing going on here, and this is going to be wild. I had no thought of the police would show up.
Wow, that's good. Considering some of them were real wrestlers. I just thought it was hilarious.
That was hilarious. The best part was that they got the cops called on them. that was, I think that was the best part of that story. Just, again, it's just like, that's just playing off normal things that happen in wrestling sometimes. Just, sometimes people get jumped and you don't know what to expect, but you just kind of gotta laugh at it, knowing that it's all for fun.
Well, that's many things, you know. The magician revealed his secrets. And I'll tell you the fun road stories of it. So that was almost a year ago, the home invasion gimmick. So, again, it was Aaron and I on an impulsive whim decided that we were just going to go up and do this segment. We already knew that Scarlet Black was going to be up in Kelowna, and we had intended to go up and surprise her and visit her. And so we had only started our drive up. We weren't even out of Abbotsford yet. And Aaron and I concocted this idea about utilizing Ewan's already promoted live feed that he was going to do. And so we did call Ewan and we're like, so we got this idea and we just want you to show up, and at a very set time, I want to make sure that you're interviewing Pete, who is likely to join your chat if you invite him, because Pete was extra talkative at that time about his feelings toward us. And we did. Ewan was kind enough to invite Pete on as a guest, but Pete and Jeff and nobody even knew we were in Kelowna whatsoever. We had gone down earlier in the day. We picked up Scarlet Black. We picked up That Mom. We got our cameras ready. We were waiting and watching the live chat from about 2 blocks away from his house when it started going. And then it was finally when he started to talk some shit about me that I was like, all right, now we're just going to go. And then sure enough, we floored it. We went up the street. We laid on that horn. Pete had no friggin' clue what was going on. And then he finally clued in. And Pete is a ring announcer as well. But him and Jeff, other than, you know, some security debacles, they're not trained professionals either. And I just ran out of that car and I just started swinging. And the best part for me was when Pete comes running back down the hill and his pants are about to fall down. And he like reaches through the car and he's just swinging at me with his fist and like pulling me. Oh, it was good. We legit. Erin said she saw 3 RCMP. I only saw the 2 for sure, but they were definitely there. Neighbors were out on their balconies, on their phones. People like ran down the street. They could see when the fight started, there was these little people walking and they just booked it down the street and avoided it. But I don't know, it was great. Ewan knew something was going to happen and the rest of nobody knew. And Aaron and I not only planned that trip on the impulse fly, but that was something else. That's for sure. That took it to a whole other level. And then after that, there's been a lot of repeat. Okay, I'm going to jump you. I'm going to do this angles. And it started the revolution of fantasy and people actually physically doing segments together as opposed to not. But yeah, I'm actually kind of proud of that one. I like
you come out there and check out a show. So what do you think?
Well, you know what? We just had our big shows with Mick Foley.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Oh, what? Pete, what?
Oh my God!
What's going on?
You want a piece of me, Pistol?
What is
Oh my God! You got it! Tell about that down here! Help me! Get out of here! Come on! Come on, Doctor! I'll see you on the 26th! Oh, you got nothing! You got nothing!
What the hell is going on here?
Come on, Pete! Oh my God!
Pete, what
my
happened?
God!
What?
You call it out, Pete! I'm here in Kelowna, Pete! Come on, Gunner! I'll take you on the Freebird even here! But that girl's here, and that mom's here! We got a whole car of this and that and the other! Come on, Daddy! Let's bring it on! Hey!
What is that? What the hell is going on?
Get out of here! He's so sweaty! Get out of here, bro! Ben sweat! Good Lord! Get him back! I'll see you on the 25th.
I'll see you on the 25th.
I'll show you I got the biggest peanut.
What's happening here? What is this?
Get back in the car and get out of here.
Pete, are you okay? What's going on? Jesus Christ.
Go get him. Go get him. Get out of here, that girl.
Can we get the police out there? What's going on? What the hell is happening here? What?
This is Pistol Pete. You stand by it, bro. No.
Is that guy? What is going on? My God, I'm fighting in the streets. Jesus. What is going on?
Oh, Gunner. Gunner. Where's Gunner?
Oh my God.
Oh, he's so sweaty.
Peter, are you okay? What is There's a fight. Can we get some security over there, please?
Get out of here. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm that guy for a reason. Oh, you got lucky in your match. Right in the dick.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the...
Right in Get out of here. Those blanks you've been shooting got nothing on that guy. Come on.
It looks...
Let's get out of here. Get in there. Get in. Go, go, go. Go. This pistol's got blanks.
Jackmaster, this is Gunner. Pass on a message to GMU. You tell him that sniper's banned from ringside, so is that girl.
Fair enough, but Gunner, what's happening out there?
No, get out of here! Get out of here! No! My glasses! You took my glasses! Give me my glasses! Give me my glasses!
Oh my God!
Hey, what was that? What happened there? What's going on?
That was that guy!
That guy?
Oh my God!
That guy attacked you? He came to your home?
Yes!
Hey, are you okay, sir? What? Jesus
I gotta
Christ!
catch my breath.
This is out of control, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at me. I've been beat up.
Pete, are you going to be okay, sir? Do you need any medical attention? I don't know.
I took a really heavy hit to the head. I got him. I put him in the vehicle, and I got rid of him.
Now,
He's gone.
I looked at the video there. There seemed to be quite a few people. What was it? Just him or what? Who else?
There's a whole bunch.
There's a whole bunch.
That girl, and I'm not sure who else was all there. It was blank. They all just came at us.
That girl was there too?
Yes.
Jesus. We've been waiting to hear something from her.
And I'm not sure who else.
My God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This is completely out of hand here.
You know what, Snackmaster?
Yes,
I need to go right now. I need to catch my breath.
No, I understand. I understand totally.
But I'll be back.
Somebody.
Thank you for your time, sir. I will see you soon.
Okay, you get better, Pete. My God, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you.
I can't really control what happens out in public, so. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. From what it appears, Pistol Pete was attacked by that guy who showed up at his home. It appeared that girl was there, too. Oh, my God, this is a mess here. This is an absolute mess. Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus, well, it's never a dull moment with these chats. Let me tell you what. It looks as though Pistol Pete's going to be okay. It looked like Gunner was there with him. Maybe Gunner was over visiting. I don't know the story, but it looks like they've chased that guy, and it looked like that girl was with him. It appeared there were more. I don't know what the story is, but it looks like Pistol Pete is going to be okay. Oh, my God. What an absolute mess. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're staying with us here. What a crazy chat this is here.
If the police come, how are we going to explain this? Oh my God.
You stand by it, bro! No! No!
Oh my God! Oh fuck!
You got my glasses!
Oh, Gunner's coming. Oh fuck! Gunner!
Where's Gunner?
Oh!
Don't touch it!
Oh fuck!
Oh yeah! Oh, I'm that guy for a reason! You go lucky, you Max! Right in the dick! You deserve it! Right in the pistol, please! Yes! Those Franks you been shooting got nothing on that guy!
Another incident that came to mind also actually took place at the same venue. It pretty much featured basically the Watcher attacking that guy.
Notice we're mentioning that guy a lot, as you can tell. See?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, that guy, Danni Deeds.
Yeah, they had
definitely, credit has to go to him a lot because he, has helped out quite a bit. Creatively, he's been great with the ideas, and he does go the extra mile to help out any cause to get the cause noticed. And he's the type of guy who'll do anything. Like, if it means entertaining people, he's up for it. And he's done quite a bit in the wrestling scene as well, as he's took in that fantasy gimmick of that guy and he's turned it in as his gimmick for actually in pro wrestling now.
It was mentioned on the news, even on News 1130.
Yeah, he's also ran for mayor in Abbotsford as well. So obviously, anything that can entertain people, he's up for. But yeah, for that incident with the Watcher and that guy, how did you know exactly what was going to happen? Did you guys discuss anything before, or was it just like you guys were just kind of winging it?
We talked about it before what was going to go down, and then it was a thing where there was going to be an attack somewhere, but I technically didn't know until the 11th hour of when that attack was going to be. So I walked outside, or the Watcher walked outside, excuse me, and there it was. Boom, we're right into it. I was a little worried that some of the local wrestlers might have come outside and seen this and might have told us to break us up, but they were all too busy inside doing what they were doing. So, oh Lord! So we went at it, and oh God, it was debauchery. Let's put it that way.
I thought that we were just like, what is just happened there? Like a professional wrestler is attacking a fantasy wrestler? Really? Something wrong with that picture, but it went over.
Best part was when Danny got shit over his head. I mean, again, not shocking. It's wrestling.
We to be honest, went with it. I remember swatting at him near the end of the night. I just came out of nowhere and I was ready. He knew there was going to be some kind of confrontation, and I was poking the bear all night. But wrestlers and fans at wrestling events don't often get physical, and but to be honest, I have a trust and a friendship with you, and that I've built over the years that we just went with it, and it came what may. And was I expecting to be power bombed into the side of a truck? No, but I think I enjoyed the moment because I think Ewan really enjoyed the moment. But there'll become a time when I kick his ass just for what he did. Just put that on the record.
This guy.
Nah.
You want some of the Watcher?
No,
Let's go down.
I don't want it. Nah. No. Nah. Nah.
Get up.
Come on, Watcher. Come on, Watcher. No. Please, no. Nah. Oh! No. Come on, Watcher. Get out of here, Watcher. What do you think you're doing? Get out of here. Get out of here.
He wanted me here, so now I'm here. Huh? Now I'm here. You wanted the Watcher live in ECCW?
Now you got me laughing at CCW.
Come on, Watcher, get out of here. That's enough.
Get on the truck, Ewan!
Oh no! No more! No more, please!
Here. Look at him! Look at him!
Come on, Watcher.
Maybe it's time we really send a message here.
No! 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 Don't do it! No! Oh wait just a minute! No! 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 Whoa! 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 Please no! Don't do it! No! 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 Please! No! 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 Oh! Oh!
Come on, Watcher, cut it out.
Thanks for watching.
That's enough.
Oh, God. No, somebody check on this.
Unbelievable.
Somebody check on him. Seriously, somebody check on that guy.
Unbelievable, that guy.
Check on him.
Look over.
Watch is not done.
Oh, God.
Watch is not done.
Get out of here, Watcher.
It's been about you and your family,
What
right?
do you think you're doing, Watcher? That's enough.
Now it's about me. Good luck
enough.
with Mr. Abbotsford. You're gonna need it. I'll be watching. Woo!
Oh, God. Unbelievable.
Somebody get in, check on him. Somebody check on him.
There you go. Ending live video.
Oh, he's had lots, and yeah, I do think a lot of eyes have come onto it.
Look who he brought in with him. Look how many people he brought in with him. Without Deeds, we wouldn't have most, if not half of the roster. So if it wasn't for Danny, then I don't think we would still be going.
I like to think that I bring something different to every table. You know, I'm not the same as everybody else when it comes to how I perform and do things. I don't think that I really ultimately changed things. When I came in, like, I was really intrigued, like, when Mike McEwen and Ross were going back about, the fucking Kobe beef, pardon the language, and I guess I dropped the F-bomb, who knows who's watching this, when it was, what's his name, Richard Dick Prick, and he was just down in the slumps, and the stakes, and I loved it. It didn't need advancing for me. I think that it opened up the doors to wrestlers seeing that, hey, there's a bit more to this and a way to engage the fans. So I'm hoping that opened the door. There was a bit of a floodgate open where there was a whole bunch of new personalities that came out for a while that were all professional wrestlers, and then they started getting in trouble because that's somehow, the world is somehow, and so they stopped. I wouldn't give myself personal credit on changing a whole lot of things. Maybe just being extra loud and trying to push people to take it to the next level, but yeah, it was all of you. All of you kept it afloat. I'm just a number. I'm one of like 52 or whatever it is.
Ever since I started Millenium Pro, I wanted to have, with all due respect to the other group, I wanted to have it as separate from it as possible, as different from it as possible. If you may remember back with WCW, and a long time ago, it was that really, Southern wrestling and stuff like that, and then Eric Bischoff came in and he said, we really want to change this up. Times have changed. It was the same way with ECW too, Paul Heyman looked at old wrestling from back then and then went, okay, now we've got, all these great music bands, but now we got bands like Nirvana, now we got Pearl Jam, now we got rock stuff, now we want to take it extreme. People want to change, right? And that's what I did with Millenium Pro, is that I want things to be, I want it to, with respect again, look as realistic as possible. So I bought some actual nice title belts, really legit looking title belts you can even wear. I have a broadcaster gimmick. I call him Alcoholic. I kind of named that after a joke that was on The Simpsons. And the pub nights, basically, that's just a way to interact, I think. I like the feeling of going out and meeting people, you know, in that kind of a setting. It was just randomly just to meet people. You know, you never know who may end up showing up at a pub night too. That's the thing. And our pub nights have been pretty wild. We just go simply to have a good time, and we go to this local place here in the city that we've been to now for a while, and it's just random what kind of things we get at these pub nights. So it's always an adventure in MPRO.
Community. I think, anyway. I think we're a community. We're friends. We are friends without even the fantasy wrestling or Millenium Pro.
Everyone a little bit closer. You get to know everyone a little bit better, which is a good thing and a bad thing, as I said earlier, because you get to see people's advantages and you get to see people's flaws, and you just kind of get to see what they're like as a person, more outside of who they are.
Absolutely think they're a great thing. I haven't been able to attend them all, but what it really shows to me is that unlike traditional situations where we've stereotyped fantasy and online wrestling, there's a genuine group of friends that is formed because of their love for wrestling and just over time. Like, it isn't just like a couple people just typing stuff in and making comments. Like, we all genuinely, you know, for the most part, hit or miss some of us, we like one another. We like to spend time together. And so not only do they get to creatively do these shows online, but then they go to shows together and we do things. It's fun. It's like being part of a club or being part of a family, and I think it's great for everybody. I think it's a morale booster. It gives an opportunity for people who may or may not feel socially awkward sometimes to come out and engage other people. And the jackpot challenges and things like that, I think there needs to be a better system, though, so that way more people can be involved in that, because some people, for whatever reason, can't always be at the social events, and so that'd be a draw. But I don't know. It shows. I think those things are really important. It's different. It shows that they go above and beyond.
The first annual MPRO Awards took place, which is a really good concept, because I'm not too sure if there's any other group, let alone fantasy wrestling or almost any fantasy group online, that would have such an event where there was actual awards plaques made up, and all the presentations were on an actual Facebook Live. Definitely MPRO has definitely grown into something unique and totally different, outside the box compared.
That's the thing, is I wanted to make it a different thing. Make it, even though it's fantasy, make it look as realistic as possible. You know, blurring the lines between fantasy and reality, no doubt about it. You know, want to make it as realistic as possible, while in the realm of respecting professional wrestlers by not doing any physical matches and having it as our own thing for the wrestling fans.
So for the awards, how did you decide like the actual categories, and then also decide on who was gonna get the awards?
Well, it kind of like the Slammies in WWE, you know. Very much, you know, just kind of what would be realistic. You know, our basis is promos, so we do basically, you know, the best promo, best match, you know, because the way we do it in Millenium Pro is we don't just pick the best promo and then I just go, this guy had the best promo or she had the best promo. We write it out like they had actually a wrestling match, which I think is kind of neat. So then they can get that feeling of, you know, competing. And excuse me. And so I would pick the best match, or yeah, various type of things depending what the category.
It's kind of like, it's nice to see your accomplishments mean something, I guess. it's just nice to be awarded sometimes for your hard work.
I think that the award ceremony was great. I don't know how all the judging went. I'm not sure if some people just got participation ribbons. But Ewan has gone above and beyond. Like, the belts he's made are better quality than some I've seen that are for professional independent companies. The fact that he goes out of the way and you have a one time a year where you publicly acknowledge the people and friends that you're working with, that's like I don't know, it's got the merit of a true business, and I can appreciate that about it. And it really shows his genuity, again, for what he's trying to do.
Welcome to the MPRO Awards Night. How's everybody doing? Here, lads! Say hi, all the people! Hey! With the most shocking moment in Millenium Pro. Yes. The most shocking moment with the gangster where the crowd had to leave the arena.
That was a good one.
Bloody Mary attacking GM Ewan.
I don't remember that.
Even though still good though.
Johnny Deeds attacking Bobby Beach in the studios.
That's alright.
That family invading Robbie Bleach's home.
Robbie Bleach was in Millennium Pro.
That family versus the gun family with the police incident.
Walk the road, baby.
Scarlet Black stealing the women's title.
That was fun too, though. That was really good.
I like when that happened.
That was really good.
That was a good.
Because I didn't even know she really had.
The Watcher attacking that guy outside of the venue.
Oh yeah.
That guy let the Watcher attack.
JJ Bounty attacking the demon in the parking lot.
Yes.
And that guy when he stole the women's belt and sat on top of the ring truck.
Yeah.
This most shocking moment right here. I got it right here. And the award goes to that family attacking the gun family in their home. Now we move to the best female wrestler. The nominees are Erin Schulte.
Oh yeah.
She's now Jamie Dean, but at the time Beach Babe Dozer, Timmy. Beach Babe. Shell Shock, Michelle.
Shell Shock got in for Bloody Mary.
Ravishing Rachel.
No.
I'll break your neck.
Solus.
No.
Well, I'll tell you about school.
Or Scarlet Black.
Scarlet Black.
And the winner is it was a close one, extremely close.
Bloody Mary.
Scarlet Black is your winner. Rivalry of the year.
Oh.
Rivalry of the year. We have JJ Bounty versus Richard Dickman.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Erin Schulte and Scarlet Black.
Ah, very
That
good.
was fun at the beginning. Yeah.
That guy versus the Watcher.
Good.
JJ Bounty and PatRiot.
Ongoing feud.
Bobby Beach and Johnny Dean. Solus and Winghawk.
See that? There's some.
That family and the gun family.
Yeah.
Hopefully not. But
Doom and the Demon. Or Scarlet Black and Nate Skinner.
Ooh. Scarlet Black and Nate Skinner. That was a good one.
The winner is.
and the winner is. Come on. Don't you run away. You're gonna win this war.
JJ Bounty and PatRiot.
Take the photo.
Ross, you gotta be the bigger man to come over and take a photo.
Oh, no, okay.
There we go.
There he goes. Come on. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. That's all good. He's just funny.
Get away from me, Ross. Best tag team. Here we go.
That family right here.
We got Great Prickly Scott.
Yeah, they're great.
The Gangsta Bounty Connection. The Olsen Twins.
No.
The COD.
Hell no.
The Gun Family.
No.
Or that family.
Yeah. And the winner is.
The winners for Best Tag Team. Very close, but it was Great Prickly Scott. Yes, it was.
Steve's gonna melt that down.
Jesus, mother.
All right, I'm going to accept this from my partner. What's his name again?
Adam. Oh, no.
Wow.
Brinkley Scott.
Yeah,
McAfee.
Brinkley Scott.
McAfee.
Scott McAfee and myself. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You guys can't remember your tag team partners.
I just can't. I'm just playing.
While we're here, we're going to do one of the appreciation awards. And she's here with us, ladies and gentlemen. She provides us with great food and all this good stuff. And because she's so busy, we love you. Appreciation to you. Vicious Vicky with an appreciation award, ladies and gentlemen. This is for you. Yes, thank you. Appreciation for letting MPRO increase its roster, giving a crap about MPRO, letting us be more expanded. Danni Deeds.
I'll save you.
Another appreciation award, folks.
I had to come save him.
All
I
of
was
this
watching
stuff-
it live. I'm like, this is fucking
All of the
fun.
stuff that
That's
she's
good.
been doing for the city, giving a crap for Millenium Pro, the caring heart that she has. Eric Schulte. For appreciation for November, Steve Harvard, ladies and gentlemen. He's been helping Millenium Pro making very important decisions. We love the guy, Adam McLean. Maker. Last appreciation award.
I'll keep it here. I'll pretend it's fine.
Our cameraman, he does very good stuff with videos. He contributes a lot to Millenium Pro and gives a crap about how it looks. Ladies and gentlemen, David Wendick gets an appreciation award this week. Hey! Check him out.
That way.
This was the toughest decision I've had in MPRO.
No, really? Everyone.
It was that bad I couldn't pick a winner. Everybody got crybaby. I know.
Pro Universe, I gotta ask, what kind of a wussy decision is that? Everybody else gets awards. I got like 3, 4, 5 awards. Who's the friggin' crybaby? I wanna know. I want our general manager, our Owen, our Ewan, our fucking whatever his name is. You go ask him. What's the decision? Who's the crybaby? Just pick one. We're not. There's 52 members of Millenium Pro. Who's the friggin' crybaby? Give me an award. Give somebody an award.
Right.
Literally.
We have Death Dealer Bane in the Watcher, the Barbed Wire Inferno match. Freebird Dylan Murphy and Soul Taker and False Count Anywhere. We have Gorgoth and the Watcher, the 10,000 ton match.
The Watcher.
Estoloco and Sonico and High Flying Insanity. The Three Faces of Ewan, Johnny Dean versus the Watcher versus Bobby Beach. I don't know why that's Ewan on there.
There's like three
Yes.
I wonder who's gonna win.
The 135A Street Fight, Scarlet Black and Aaron Schulte. Or the amazing one-on-one match we had, I believe, back in April Annihilation, JJ Bounty and top drawer Michael Moore. That was a really good match. And that match actually has won. JJ Bounty and top drawer Michael Moore. Member of our group, folks, who obviously has had quite a life, shared her stories, lots of good stuff going on.
Aaron.
And she's been contributing member to MPRO. We love her to death. Soulless.
Jordana.
It's Nate Skinner, who's our VIP.
He's not a
male wrestler.
Oh, God.
Richard Dick Frick. JJ Bounty. Scott McAfee. The Gangsta. Blackout. The Mask.
Blackout isn't even something anymore.
They're just added, don't worry about it. Bobby Beach.
Might as well put Bloody Mary in
Soul
that.
Taker. Sleazy Steve or top drawer Michael Moore.
Oh my God.
The winner is
Mike, it's Dave.
Richard Dick Frick. Okay. Nominations are.
She's high on cocaine.
We got JJ Bounty with his infamous church promo there.
Santa says tisk tisk right behind you.
Top drawer Michael Moore with Mario. Yeah. Mario.
That's not the Snow White was talking.
Taylor Stevens when he did the action news with the action figures.
What? That was good. Still.
Bloody Mary with her little tricycle, scary promo there. Yeah. The 30-second ravishing Rachel, her neck breaker. Jamie Dean with her notes promo. Yeah. Scarlett Black and her family feud with Natalie Skinner. Who Killed Winghawk series.
I love the Winghawk series.
Winghawk's awesome. Richard Dick Rick with his mall promo, Man's Gotta Eat.
That's pretty funny.
The Olsen twins with their shiny coats. That guy in his promos when he's mimicking the Watcher. Gangsta with Merry Motherfucking Christmas.
I'm a sucker for that guy.
And Sleazy Steve with his internet title victory speech.
Oh,
that was good. And it was top draw Michael Moore with his Morio. I think it's too early to tell, in my personal opinion. We come November, we will have been 2 years doing this, and I think right now it's a bit early to tell. I've had some friends in the group saying, "Hey, Ewan, you should trademark this thing. You should take it out. You should expand. You should, whatever." And I'm like, we don't really have, the greatest of membership right now. We're only at about 140 people who are members of the group. About 30, 35, maybe plus wrestle for it. When we kind of have a 300, maybe 350 mark of membership, then maybe I might. But as far as where I can see it in the future, I'd love to keep Millenium Pro going as long as possible.
I'd say no, because I think people have moved on too quickly. It's just, no one really stays for a long time. They're in and out, or just come back multiple times. I just see it just kind of being something here and there, just for the next little while.
That will really all depend on the drive of everybody collectively. People's attention spans tend to wander, so saying 5 years from now that all of us are going to be in the same independent fantasy wrestling group is hard to say. However, the fact that we've kept and retained most of the information in our members and have only started to increase in its year plus presence, or where are we at, 2 years, or we're just like a year and a half, right? It's got good momentum and merit to stay. I mean, I don't think this group of friends is going to change over time, but whether or not the focal point of all of these friendships remains fantasy wrestling, that I couldn't say 5 years from now. I will just hope that it will continue onwards at the strength that it is, and yeah.
I think it will still exist. It might not exist as well as it did now, but it might even be better. Who knows? But we'll just wait and see. It's 5 years from now.
Being 2020 now, is there anything that's happened and occurred with MPRO that you regret at all?
I don't think so. On a whole level. I do, there are times where I do feel a little, not, I wouldn't say asshole-ish, but the fact that I was a part of this other guy's group and then decided to do my own, I did feel a little bit at first bad about that, because I feel that our group now has really kind of taken a big step to fantasy wrestling compared, just in my opinion, compared to what his has done. So I kind of feel a little bit for that. But at the same time, you know, people want change, and you know, I'm here to give it. So I don't see any real negative, except probably for those of us who don't get it like others do, because then I have noticed that it does cause some shoot issues. I don't want MPRO to be a burden on anybody's life. I don't want MPRO to be something that would break up friendships. But I do want MPRO to be around, because I'm 40 now. I've been watching wrestling since I was 6. And again, with respect to all the wrestling around, I need more wrestling in my life. You know, WWE, I'll always watch, I'll always be a fan of, I'll always wear the wrestling shirts, but it's quite a different product than what it was years ago. There's really not much else. I mean, we got this AEW possibly coming, but I just need wrestling as much as I can in life, and MPRO's the filler.
So, if you had to use one word to describe MPRO, what would it be?
Unpredictable.
Fun.
Fabulous.
Interesting.
Family.
Has grown fast in the first year. Fantasy wrestling at the next level, as no other online fantasy wrestling group has the engagement and closeness of its members. MPRO has told some great stories and showcased some talented and unique personalities. What's next for MPRO? Only time will tell.
The after party? I'm gonna be at the after party, drinking a whole lot of brewskis, hookers and blow all the way, baby.